can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you. You got me?
We've got you. Thank you so much for taking some time with us. We're now joined by our playoff driver, Alex Bowman, ahead of this weekend's racing at Richmond Raceway. So for Alex, please raise your hand or feel free to send me a chat, and we're going to kick things off with Bob Pockers. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, good morning, Alex. Sometimes you can kind of be a little like kind of a glass half empty kind of guy. So I'm curious, how do you feel like you have to do anything to try to stay positive or keep your team positive?
I don't know. Definitely a little bit after a weekend like this weekend. It wasn't good by any means, kind of from start to finish. Had radio issues, trouble with the engine. I drove it in the fence. Then we had another flat tire after that. Like, it was kind of just one of those days. So definitely trying to keep the team pumped up. But at the same time, I think everybody on the team knows how strong we can be each and every place we go. We just had a bad day, so going forward to a place like Richmond where we won in the spring, I think everybody's pretty positive that we can go there and have success and be strong. And this round of 16 with everybody having issues at Darlington, it's not as bad as it could have been, the hole that we're in. And I think we're in a okay spot going forward. Not comfortable by any means, but if we just go do our jobs, we'll be all right.
And do you believe that what worked at Richmond in the spring will work in the fall, or are there any significant changes that you feel will disrupt that type of thought?
I hope so, because I haven't ever had anything work at Richmond before the spring, so that's all I got that works. But I hope so. I feel like I drive that place incorrectly to a point, and I ask some different things out of the race car that kind of a lot of the normal guys that grew up racing stock cars on short tracks don't do. So, going there has always been tough for me. And I think Greg finally hit on something that worked really well for me. So hopefully we can get it to work again. You never know until you get there. And without practice, it's hard to say, but pretty confident that we'll have another great race car this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take our next question from Claire Beeline. Go ahead, Claire.
Thank you. Well, with 3 of the 4 Hendrick drivers either near or below the cutoff line and coming out of this past weekend's race, what are your team meetings like? Kyle Larson does so well. It seems like he can run anywhere. He had a phenomenal race, right? And it's a tough racetrack. So how do you deal with it within a driver's crew chief competition meeting?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't, a great mood after Darlington, but I feel like everybody's focused forward and working hard to be the best we can be at Richmond. It was one race, it's 1 week. The playoffs, the way it goes, you have 2 bad weeks in one round and you're kind of done. So, we know we have to be strong the next 2 weeks, but at the same time, we've been strong all year. And I think there's a lot of confidence going forward that we can continue to do that. I think I'm probably the most frustrated of anybody, and that's because it was just like blatantly my fault, right? Like, I drove the car into the outside wall. So I'm frustrated with myself that I did that and that I made that mistake, but also frustrated that it hurt the 24's day like it did. But the 24 and the 9 kind of had things go on outside of their own control, and then the 5 had a good day. So I think we all just know we need to be strong in Richmond.
Were you surprised that what happened to the playoff drivers, to the Hendrick drivers, but also the playoff camp? And then, this sport is so fickle, the power rankings and everything. It's like so-and-so is, is he the favorite for the championship? Hendrick drivers cannot be beat. We have one race and now everything has switched, right? Does that drive you crazy a little bit? And then are you surprised what happened?
I wouldn't say I'm surprised. Darlington's an easy track to have issues at. So for as many people to have issues as they did, I'm not all that surprised about it. As far as the media stuff goes, once I realized that I'm always going to get kicked a little bit by the media, I just quit reading it. Some some are not the nicest to me. So I just quit reading it and don't pay attention to it. So that's fine. That's part of my job. And yeah, I don't know who was. I'm sure Kyle was the favorite and is still the favorite. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know anything about power rankings or anything like that. I just try to drive the race car as fast as I can.
Well, no need for the media to kick you. You're so busy kicking yourself. So good luck this weekend, okay?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take our next question from Chris Estrada. Go ahead, Chris.
Alex, thanks for joining us today. You started 24th at Richmond this spring, but you still managed to score in both stages and win in the end. This time around, you'll be starting 12th. Does that lessen the degree of difficulty in your mind, or does it not, since all those playoff drivers will be around you to start racing you hard for those stage points?
Yeah, I think it's still going to be difficult. You know, the spring we had a really difficult day. We had the pit road penalty. I think we started at the tail end of the longest line in stage 3, and you know, that late race caution got us the win, but we'd still driven back to 3rd from last, basically. So if we're as strong as we were in the spring, I know we'll be able to pass cars. We had a great long run race car, and we're able to make a lot of headway there. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's definitely a little more intense in the playoffs. Everybody's gonna race a little harder. But Richmond's a place, like, if your race car is good and you're good on the long run, you can give up that short run a little bit and make a lot of headway as the run kind of rolls on. So just excited to see how we are when we get there and go to work on making the car better and being there at the end.
And for a follow-up, you had mentioned after you'd won, you mentioned that you hadn't been that great at short runs until that last restart when Greg made the adjustments that helped you get the lead. As you come back to Richmond, is having more consistent short run speed, is that more of an emphasis this time with you and the 48 team going in?
I don't think so. You know, you look at that race and it's typically a ton of long runs. So I think what we had was pretty good. You know, I don't know that we completely made up what we lost at the beginning of the run to the 22 and the 11. So maybe, you know, splitting the difference a little bit if we can. But if you ask me, I would rather be good on the long runs every time, especially at a place like that where the tire wear is so high. And if you're good on a long run, typically it makes it really easy to pass at the end of the run because guys start struggling so bad with tire wear. So, you know, I enjoy that aspect and managing tires and kind of dealing with the race car on the long run because it goes through such a swing of how it drives. But yeah, that short run speed was definitely nice to have at the end.
Thank you, Alex. Good luck.
Yep. Thanks.
All right, we'll take our next one from Michael Shelton. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you. Well, Alex, very few would doubt your ability and your team's ability to win, but you know, since coming back from the Olympic break, only one top 10 finish in 5 races. I'll be coming at Daytona. I was just curious about, you know, the struggles. You know, how much do you think of it as kind of mental? Is it almost like a singer-songwriter kind of having writer's blocking? Just need to get your mojo back?
No, I don't think so. I think, you know, we went to some racetracks that are tougher for us. You know, the road courses right after the off week were rough on us. Indy, we were going to end up okay and had a flat tire on the last restart. You know, Michigan, we were going to end up okay and just were super tight on the last couple of restarts there and got shuffled out of the top 10. So, you know, the sport comes and goes and it's got ups and downs. And it seems like when you're consistently running well, you can kind of do no wrong and you're always fast. And then you kind of fall off and try to get it back. But I don't think it's like a mojo thing. I think that's just kind of how the sport works. It's how racing goes in general. So, you know, I'm confident we can go to Richmond and have a good day. We struggled at Darlington in the spring quite a bit. I think Dover was the race after that and we went and won. So I'm not worried about where we're at. I'm not worried about how many top 10s we have since the Olympic break or anything like that. I'm just I'm here to maximize each and every week and get us through these rounds in the playoffs and try to chase the championship.
And just a quick follow-up, we've been hearing rumblings about the possible schedule for next season, and some of the possible changes include the Busch Clash at the LA Coliseum or racing at the Worldwide Technology Raceway and just outside St. Louis. Just curious what you think about these proposals, and what, if any, changes would you like to make or would you like to see?
Yeah, I love going to new racetracks. Obviously, I don't know any more than what you guys know. I haven't heard anything officially, but it all sounds cool, right? Like when I ran the East Series, we ran Bowman Gray Stadium, which it sounded like the most ridiculous idea I'd ever heard in my life. But when we got there, it was a lot of fun. So I would imagine it would be somewhat similar to that at least, and could be pretty neat. And then, yeah, if we went to Gateway, that'd be neat. My buddy Chris Blair runs that place, and he's a great guy. So seeing his track get a race would be really, really cool. And it looks like a really interesting place. I've never been there, but anything new is always cool, right? Like any of the new races we've had this year have been kind of exciting and cool to be a part of. So I'm all for new racetracks, new challenges, and shuffling up the schedule every year, I think, is really cool.
Thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, we're going to take our next one from Dustin Long. Go ahead, Dustin.
Thank you, Alex. And a couple of things, but I do want to follow up on what you just said there, just talking about Bowman Gray. So I'm curious from a driver's point of view, what was so fun about Bowman Gray? Because that just seems like that's just bare knuckle brawling racing, and I'm not sure how fun that can be.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was really difficult for me because I had, never really done the stock car short track thing, especially at that point in my career. So the first couple of races were at bigger places, and then we went to Bowman Gray, and I had no clue what I was doing. So it was definitely interesting. We tore up a ton of stuff, but just the atmosphere of a place like that is so cool. Continues to be really cool up there. You see highlights on Twitter all the time from races up there, and crazy stuff happening. I've gone and sat in the stands there, and probably the only place I've ever seen somebody flip off the pace car driver. So it's pretty wild, the stuff that goes down there. And I think, that fan engagement and atmosphere is always cool to be a part of, on or off the racetrack. So, as far as on-track stuff goes, there's a lot of beating and banging. You still got to drive the race cars. It's just another racetrack, right? It's just smaller, but yeah, I think it would be neat. Obviously, there's a lot of question marks there on what it would or wouldn't look like. And like I said, I don't really have a clue, anything more than reading, rumors on Twitter, but I think it'd be cool.
A couple of things I had for you is I'm curious, obviously same tire being used this weekend as Phoenix. Is this kind of the last chance to really kind of fine tune things for Phoenix, or how much carries over from a Richmond to a Phoenix? If you win and dominate, does that mean that, when the series comes to Phoenix, that you would be the favorite based off of what you did at Richmond type of thing?
Yeah, I think, it's interesting you say that, because like looking back, the 5 was really fast at Phoenix, and they were not very good at Richmond, and we were terrible at Phoenix and won Richmond. So I don't know how much you can really take from one to the other. I know it's the same tire and somewhat similar racetracks, but Phoenix, you have some tire fall off, but you don't have what you have at Richmond. Richmond is so much slicker, it's so much less load in the race car, and so many big differences. Like it's a quarter mile shorter, but it feels tiny and extremely slow in comparison to a place like Phoenix. So definitely different, but I want to say we can carry it all over because we were good there in the spring, but ever since 2016, we've really struggled at Phoenix. So hopefully we can get our stuff together and be good there at the end of this year.
One other thing is with Richmond, it seems like there's been some commitment line violations in the past. Don't necessarily see those as often at other tracks. Do you feel like is it a little bit more challenging trying to make sure to get that commitment line? Is it something you have to be more aware of, or is it just kind of more circumstances with Richmond?
Yeah, just where it is, how early it is. There's a lot of factors that go into it. I feel like people don't realize how little you can really see out of the cup cars. Like you can't really see that box unless you're squared up with it. So, late pit calls probably play a role in that, but just it's early, it's hard to see. And that pit road entrance is super slick, racetrack's super slick. So a lot of factors. But yeah, it's definitely a tough one and an easy one to miss and cause a big penalty for yourself.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. And Bob, did you have a follow-up? Go ahead.
Yeah, I did. I was curious, how much are you looking at points? I mean, do you like look and study and say, okay, this guy is this and I need to do this? Or do you have you been through this enough that you just kind of just go race?
Yeah, just go race. You can stare at the points report sheet or whatever it's called and, know exactly how many points you have to beat so-and-so by, but that doesn't help you any, right? Like then you're just more stressed out about situations you can't control. I think the best thing you can do for yourself is to go drive the race car the fastest you can, to go maximize every stage and to go do the best job you can. I did a really poor job on Sunday night and I've got 2 weeks to make up for it. So I just got to go maximize both races. And, last year during the playoffs, I wasn't looking at points. I wasn't worried about it. We just went and tried to execute to the best of our ability each and every week. And we had a really great playoff run. This year we started off really poorly, but I'm confident we can turn that around and at least do what we did last year, if not end up better.
And I mean, obviously you have experience in these situations. So I'm curious if there's something that you've done in the past that you're like, okay, I'm definitely not doing that now, or something you've done in the past that you're saying, I'm definitely doing that now.
The thing I've done in the past is what you said before, and study the point sheet and, get yourself worked up about things and overly stress yourself out. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You're going to drive the race car the fastest you can and race the hardest you can and do the best you can. Like knowing where another car is in points and how many spots are between you. And it's just extra things to focus on that you don't need to focus on. You just need to go run the best you can and finish the best you can. And that's what we did last year and it worked. And, trying to do that again, even though it hasn't started so great.
Thank
you. Yep.
All right, Alex, I'm actually going to ask you a question for Alex Andreev. She was wondering, did you feel like you had a race-winning car before the damage at Darlington? And do you feel like mistakes rather than speed could be what keeps Hendrick drivers from the championship 4?
I don't think we were very good before I hit the wall at Darlington because I wasn't running very hard, was really starting to struggle really early in that run and drove it right into the fence pretty early. So I feel like we were going to struggle a little bit. I think we end up somewhere in the top 10, but not where we wanted to be by any means, just kind of felt down on grip. So, I think it still would have been a way better day than it was, obviously. And still mad at myself that I did that. But what was the second half of the question? I totally forgot.
She said, let me pull it back up, sorry. Do you feel like mistakes rather than speed could be what keeps Hendrick drivers from the championship 4?
Yeah, I think we've had speed every week. So, very well could be, but, nothing's stopped us from getting there yet. We still have a chance. All 4 of us are not eliminated yet, still in it. And, I don't want to say what's going to keep us out because we're not knocked out yet.
Great. And Claire, did you have one more for Alex before we let him go?
Yeah, I did.
Go ahead.
So do you feel like it's interesting a lot of times when we have chaos, the next race isn't quite as chaotic, even though it's a playoff race, right? So do you think that when we go this weekend to Richmond, it'll be always crazy at Richmond, but that there won't be so much aggression and that the playoff drivers will watch the video and kick themselves somewhat? And do you think it'll be any different, or do you think we'll still have more of that and it will continue through this round?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like you're going to have a lot of aggression at Richmond because it's Richmond. It's a short track. tempers typically flare there. You know, stuff happens, and that's just a part of it. So I feel like it's still going to be exciting, still going to be dramatic, but we'll wait and see. Maybe it's a smooth, easy day, 48's out front, no issues, and we get another trophy. I'd be okay with that.
Well, you dream of that till we get there, and I wish you good luck. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Alex, thank you so much for taking some time with us. We wish you the best of luck this week in Richmond.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good one.